Minister for Local Government, Housing, and on behalf of the Minister and also
distinguished guests and stakeholders, members of the NFA Board Management and staff, ladies and gentlemen. Bulavinak and a very good morning to you all. Firstly, thank you for the warm welcome, and on behalf of the government and the Minister for Local Government, Housing and Community Development and Infrastructure and Transport, it is my great pleasure to officiate at this special event for the Western Division and particularly for the Nadi community. I am indeed delighted to join you all here today. In the last fiscal year, government had supported the National Fire Authority to secure appropriate vehicles, two of which are brand new ambulances for the expansions of government's intent to make available emergency ambulance services to our fellow Fijians through the National Fire Authority. 2 days ago, the Honorable Prime Minister handed over the first of the two new ambulances to the National Fire Authority's Sabu-Sabu fire stations for the Northern Division and particularly the Sabu-Sabu community. And today, it is my great pleasure to hand over the second new ambulance which has been assigned to the Western Division and particularly for the Nadi community for the provisions of emergency ambulance services to the people of Nadi and its neighboring communities. Government is committed to ensuring that all Fijians have ready access to these essential services. The presence of the National Fire Authority in your community, particularly for the Western Division, should give you a sense of assurance of the availability of basic essential services in terms of fire rescue, road accident rescue, hazardous materials rescue, flood and swift water rescue, urban search and rescue, rescue assistance during natural disasters, and the provisions of emergency ambulances and the services. Government values the well-being and safety of the people of this nation, irrespective where you live in Fiji, and we will continue to reach out to all communities to ensure that all Fijians can have easy access to these basic essential services. This is indeed a welcome inclusion for the Western Division and for the Nadi community, and I ask you all to work with your local fire stations and help make Nadi resilient towards fire and other emergencies. Nothing is impossible when we all join hands to work together for the betterment of our own communities and our beloved Fiji. In the National Development Plan for the nation for the next 20 years, government is challenged to transform Fiji through the provisions of affordable housing for each citizen, electricity and water for all, access to high-quality healthcare systems, and so forth, and closely associated with these new objectives would be the need for the fire services to stay vigilant throughout. Of greater challenge to the National Fire Authority would be the reduction of NFA's response time from 10 minutes to 5 minutes. And I believe that the NFA, particularly in the Western Division, is developing strategies to meet these objectives in due time. NFA has also been tasked by the government to move into growth centers such as Navua, Korobou, Natandola, Nambowalu, Keyasi, Wunindawa, and Nayabu. And it is also pleasing to see much progress being made by the National Fire Authority into critical areas, particularly in the Western Division. As far as the National Fire Authority's services are concerned, I am confident that government will continue to work closely with NFA for the provisions of better emergency management services to the communities. And I urge all stakeholders to partner with your local fire station and ensure preparedness, compliances, and resilience of your business, your property, your investment against fire or any other disasters. I understand that the 2 fire stations are due to be commissioned over the next few months in Rakiraki and Nambuwalu, where we will see the further enhancement of government's reach to the rural community in the provisions of basic essential services through the National Fire Authority and the Office of the Commissioner Western. We'll continue to strive to improve service delivery for all Fijians, wherever you may be. Today, Nadi contributes enormously to Fiji's economic development, and it is my humble plea to the people of Nadi to take fire safety seriously and protect your homes, your businesses, your environment, your lives, and those of your loved ones from unnecessary loss of fire. I urge you all, particularly the community in the Western Division, to engage with your local fire station and be reminded of simple but yet life-saving tips such as electrical appliances and wiring should be checked regularly, switch off the lights or electric iron or electric kettle, etc. before you leave the area. Cooks, don't leave the kitchen until your cooking is done. You can always watch the replay. Fire ignition sources like matches, candles, prayer dyers, etc. should never be left unattended, and be mindful of your little children's safety at home, as they can easily get hold of matches or lighters that can lead to a fire. Too many times we have seen precious lives unnecessarily lost to fires, and the Western Division has had its equal share of such losses, and I urge you all to take heed of these very important fire safety measures that have been taken for granted for too long. Usually it is only when the fire starts with you that you realize the importance of fire safety. Let us change that and be more proactive towards preventative measures. And I must emphasize that we are all responsible for ensuring fire safety wherever we are. We will work with the National Fire Authority and particularly the stations in the Western Divisions to be always ready to assist you in the event of an untimely emergency, and your local firefighters and those that are based in the fire stations in the Western Divisions are also available to provide you with the necessary advice or assistance to prevent the occurrences of fire and other emergencies. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure on behalf of the government to hand over the key to this brand new ambulance to the National Fire Authority for the provisions of emergency ambulance services to the people and communities in the Western Division, and particularly the people of Nadi. Thank you. Pinawalayan, Dhanyabad.